Good job, vape awareness is increasing in Singapore, so as such there are tons of vape news and stories daily as of now. So once per week we will consolidate vape news that you should pay attention to, And the first news is of course on July 25th, 2025. A primary 4 student from Fairfield Methodist School, primary school, was actually approached by 2 teenagers attempting to sell him an e-vaporizer. The student smartly declined the offer and walked away, but was reportedly ridiculed by the peddlers. The 2 teenage entrepreneurs, So the principal, Song Mei Fong, has reported the incident to authorities immediately after being alerted. Good job. And students were informed and reminded not to engage with strangers and to report suspicious encounters to trusted adults. Once again, they are getting desperate, so much so they are now directly approaching primary school kids. And it's 2 teenagers peddling to them. My guess, they probably have a lot of stock and they know that intermediate K-pods are going to be classified as a Class C substance soon with harder and harsher penalties. So they are trying to clear their stock fast before the law changes. Other vape news. 4 days since Bin the Vape initiative have been started on July 25th, 2025, also the same day where the student was approached, coincidentally, but 4 days since Bin the Vape. The vape bin at Bedok was already more than half filled. That is actually remarkable, I mean, look at the size of the bin. You could safely say there are hundreds, if not thousands, of e-vaporizers just in that half a bin alone, okay? So good job, people are using this opportunity to quit the habit, stay away from e-vaporizers, stay away from K-pods. Do yourself good, be good to yourself, be good to your loved ones. This is the right step. If you are still hesitating, go to a bin right now and bin the vape. And now it's our final destination series where we highlight incidents that happened this week that might have caused someone to be unalive and it could have been prevented. First up in Singapore, this schoolboy here was seen dashing across the road for no apparent reason when it was showing a red pedestrian man, implying you should not cross the road at this time. He still did so, dashing, and he collided with a taxi, thankfully just brushing at the side of the taxi, though he did a flip in the air, landed, picked himself up and crossed the road. I just want to say, he really nearly unalived himself right there. I know the Lunar 7 month is only 22 days away, he's a little bit too eager. Solution, don't jaywalk. Next up, there's this incident in Johor that just happened where a 12-year-old girl got assaulted by a man with a hammer at the lobby of a flat. This camera footage here shows a man walking to the right of the screen before walking to the left, going out of frame, followed by a girl running out to the lift lobby in distress, crying out to the people in front, trying to tell them what happened. And as she gets into the lift, you can see from the point of view from the lift camera that there is blood on her hands. Her parents have taken the girl to lodge a report and a man has been arrested and he has been tested positive for substance abuse. The solution? Don't substance abuse. Make substance abuser punishment harsher. And then finally we have this Carnival ride in Saudi Arabia that literally snapped in half. Thankfully there were no fatalities, but there were a number of severe injuries. I mean, just look at this impact, okay? Solution, go ride a merry-go-round instead. This just happened on July 31st at Northpoint City Yishun at a restaurant when the glass chandelier actually collapsed, but not fully. From this video here, it seems that probably some of the support cables may have snapped as it was slumping. A woman was heard screaming and shattering noises were reportedly heard over 5 minutes. As you can see, 2 chefs there with the tall white hat was actually trying to remove the wire, the support of the chandelier. And with, I think, one staff I could see right there, and the rest were apparently all dressed in casual clothes, probably customers of the dining place supporting the chandelier. I mean, just look at the size of that chandelier. My guess is only 1 support cable snapped and it was slumping, but that snap caused the chandelier, the glass rods to fall, and as they were trying to remove the other support cables, more and more glass rods were falling and breaking to the glass. That explains all the shattering noise lasting over 5 minutes. I just want to say, this was nearly Final Destination material, okay? Thankfully, only 1 diner injured has received medical attention at hospital and have returned home, but this could have ended really, really badly. But let's also give credit to the two chefs who step up to fix this, to dislodge the whole chandelier and to bring it down, to ease it down, to rest it on the table, okay? If not, things will just drag there with it slumping and hanging and swinging over there. So credits to the chef for taking things into his or her hands. I can't tell from this figure. Damage control, taking responsibility and fixing the issue. It's one way to handle things. And then, so, please, I don't know, go and check your weight limits, the beam and all that. Why did this happen? It's just shocking. I do not want to report this in next week's Final Destination series. Please. And breaking news in Singapore, 187 companies have been forcibly wound up by courts from January to June 2025. This is a 5-year high. This was up from 146 in the first half of 2024 and 95 in the first half of 2023. So, yep, it's tough doing business in Singapore. And even more so if you are an SME owner, okay? The hardest hit sectors are F&B, interior design, and construction industries. Except maybe with the exclusion of home-based cafes. Okay, let's not go into that, okay? F&B struggles with cash flows and debts. The same with construction and interior designers. Sometimes they have cash flow issues, customers not paying on time, don't pay according to milestones. It's just one thing leads to another, and rising costs. And also, it doesn't help that landlords wants to keep increasing prices. How can you keep increasing the rental prices when you can't even increase the price of your own food? If you can't increase the price of your own food, then you need to serve smaller portion, and that might affect the taste and such. I mean, make it make sense, come on. And debt collectors also reported 30% rise in companies struggling to pay debts. Wow, that means debt collection businesses also saw a 30% boom in business. So, yeah, I mean, times are tough, okay? Personal experience, there is this Chinese F&B place that I frequent almost once a month from the start, okay? And I love their dumpling soup. I frequent it almost every month since they start for over 10 years. Just recently, they served me the same dumpling soup. This time, instead of 5 dumplings, they served 4. Safe to say, I might not be returning there anytime soon. 3 Indian tourists went to a bar. This is your last story of the day. Follow us for more. So on July 18, 2025, 3 Indian tourists went to a bar in Pattaya, Thailand, okay? So in the end, they left the bar with an explicit activity worker, aged 35 to 40, okay? And she followed the 3 Indian tourists back to their hotel room, to have some exciting time, okay? When the 3 Indian tourists realized that the chest area of the explicit activity worker was not to their liking, okay? Maybe it was really dark in the bar, they couldn't see properly, or maybe there was some kind of visualization magic that made it seem bigger than it seems, since things could be pushed up and, because the 3 Indian tourists were dissatisfied with the chest size of the explicit activity worker, they decided that she should leave without full payment. But she claims that she needs to receive the remaining balance before leaving, despite the scheduled and planned explicit activity have not taken place. And apparently, she was charging them 3,000 baht per person, so that is 83 USD per person. A 3v1. And she had already received a 1,000 baht deposit. That is about 27 USD. So the 3 tourists told her, okay, you wait here, we'll get your remaining balance. They left the room, but instead they called the cops. The cops arrived, and then, everything was resolved amicably with the parties, the 3 tourists, making partial repayment instead of the full balance. And no charges were pressed. The funny thing here is actually such explicit activity workers are actually illegal in Thailand. But the cops didn't charge or arrest the explicit activity worker. Might be because That explicit activity industry in Thailand does generate billions annually, roughly around 6.4 billion USD annually. So, yep, looks like because of tourism and, Pattaya's fame as explicit activity hotspot, some kind of eye closing sometimes, or poor vision has to be done.